Play.
Such a classic. I go, Daddy, I'm hitting it. He starts talking immediately after that. But anyways, you know what? Unorganized nonsense. This is where we thrive in this on this channel. You guys know what's up. It is the fantasy championship. About half the games are already in the books. I mean, we had 2 games on Wednesday, 1 game on Thursday, 3 games on Saturday. So a lot of you guys probably have a lot more information than you're used to having Sunday before 1 p.m. kickoff about the state of your championship matchup. Maybe you're down 80 points. Maybe you're up 50 points or whatever. There's a lot of guys that went live. Unfortunately for us on our Best Ball Mania team, we were hoping for as low scoring of a Saturday as humanly possible, minus, of course, James Conner. James Conner didn't play at all, basically left the game early after the first quarter after like 2 touches or 3 touches or something like that.
Now he played the first drive, and then immediately I saw him go to the sideline with like this look in his face mask. Just like making that face, hey, Corey? Like one of those faces. I'm like, oh,
he was definitely wincing.
Yeah,
we did get some positive, like you just said, report there that Christian Watson is unlikely to play today, which is good news for our Dontavian Wicks. And we'll bring in Spicy Hot in here to go into the back seat to show off the team and what we need today and that things of that nature. But we were hoping for as low scoring of a slate as possible, and we got a T. Higgins bomb. We got a Joe Burrow bomb.
Dude,
we got a Lad McConkey
at half, it looked so promising too, bro. At half, it was like chill. And then in the entire second half, it's almost like the Broncos forgot how to cover those guys, dude. It was so annoying to watch. T. Higgins is going to be the fucking skeleton key to winning BBM. Joe Burrow becomes the highest scoring quarterback on the week when we were coming into the day like, oh, maybe we got leverage on the field because we're probably going to end up with quarterback 1. That lasted all but a day because sure enough, Joe Burrow over 36 points. T. Higgins, 11 for 143, 3 touchdowns, best game of his fucking life he wants to do in the BBM championship. I mean, it's unreal. And then on top of that, I mean, James Conner, if we were to have one player in our team dud, it would probably best for us that it is James Conner, knowing that James Conner super chalk 41% owned in the contest. But at the same time, it's like when you do have the chalk, sometimes you just need them to play well. Like it would have been really good just knowing he played well.
Yeah. No, I mean, thankfully Pollard is out. So, and Spicy, actually, if you want to pull up the team, we can cover this quickly first. And then if you guys do have start set questions, of course, you can skip the line that is linked at the top of the chat there over on Flock Fantasy. We do have 1 in the queue right now. If you want just a quick start set question, our weekly rankings manifesto is up to date. It is totally free. It is linked in the description of this live stream. So if you're wondering where you should start player X or whatever, then you can just check that. And if we got a bunch of Raheem Blackshear, Mike Boone questions, the answer is probably neither. But if you absolutely had to start one, it is probably Raheem Blackshear based on the report that we just got coming out of Carolina saying that he's going to start. That would make sense. He's been the guy that's been active most of the year. But if it's a 50-50 timeshare on a bad team and a bad matchup, I wouldn't be shocked at that either.
I'm just not playing him. It's a bad matchup. You're maybe hoping for receiving upside against Tampa Bay realistically, but that and on top of it, who was the other guy that you mentioned? You just mentioned another name there before that.
Blackshear and Boone?
No, you were saying something before that. I was going to comment on it.
The weekly rankings manifesto is free.
Yeah, there was someone specifically. I can't put my finger on it, but regardless, Spicy is showing you guys the team that we have on the screen. Basically, to sum it up, Tajay Spears, Josh Jacobs most likely need to work into the lineup.
Yeah, not only do they have to work into the lineup, they're going to need big games, like 15 plus, half PPR at least. They're great matchups, great game environments, so that's good for us. But they have to hit or we're fucked.
Yeah, and then we have to have 3 of those wide receivers: Addison, Dontavian Wicks, Brian Thomas, and who's the other one?
Jefferson.
Jefferson. Duh, he's fucking buried at the bottom. Of course he is. To figure into the lineup, and it is unfortunate that Jonnu does not have Tua. However, we were a little bit talking about it off screen. I personally think out of all the options to maybe suffice with Tyler Huntley, it would actually be Jonnu Smith because he's the most dependent on Mike McDaniel scheming him touches.
Yeah, there is. I will go over really quick too that there is a number of weather concern games this week.
Also, one thing, shout out also Dr. Brian Harris. I actually noticed it with Corey. I pointed out, I'm like, you know, Dr. Brian Harris had the Burrow Higgins stack in BBM, right?
Oh, so, he did. Yeah, I did see that.
Hopefully you bank a good amount of cash there, Dr. Brian. Man, that's huge. That is fucking huge.
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact he used promo code FSE to sign up
There
on
we go.
Underdog. So maybe we'll feel some
Some love.
splashback of joy knowing that we maybe got a
Yeah.
guy in the
I mean,
top 12 right now.
it's always nice knowing the FSC code users are fucking popping off. And I mean, Dr. Brian has been an OG. I mean, I swear, he's in the fucking. He was in the first ever redraft league, if I'm not mistaken. Did he win it?
He was, yeah. And I bet if we went back to like Dynasty Decisions episode 4 or something, he's probably in that.
Yeah. Well, didn't he? Did he win the first ever redraft league, or am I tripping?
No,
you guys did, but he made it to the final.
No, I beat Mike.
Okay, he made it far. I just remember, but yeah, that is crazy. That's an OG right there.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. But like, I mean, given the scoring settings, we can still finish very high. Like if we get Spears 20 points with no Pollard, that's stacking up well.
The Hamlin game.
Hamlin game.
Yeah. Right. That I remember that now. Wow.
Josh Jacobs gets 20 points in a high scoring game. I mean, realistically, we need Jacksonville, Tennessee to have good scoring because we have Spears and Brian Thomas, and we need Minnesota, Green Bay to go off because we have 3 Packers, Jordan Love, Dontavian Wicks, Josh Jacobs, and we have 3 Vikings with Addison, Jefferson, Hawkinson. The nice thing is we just need to run pure on 2 things. Like it's not like we have like an 8-leg, 9-leg parlay worth of stuff that needs to happen here. If the Vikings and Packers shoot out, and Brian Thomas and Spears are in a high-scoring game, or at least they're the engines of the game for each offense, we're going to be in okay shape. We could finish top 50 or whatever. We do have like a nice little floor at tight end with Isaiah Likely. Even if, let's say, only one of these tight ends has a great game, then Likely could work maybe into our flex, or he could be our tight end spot, and we could work the other guy into our flex or whatever. We're in a position where we could still finish like top 50. We are not going to win this thing, but we could still finish.
There's one chance for us to. There's simply one chance for us to actually win this thing. We would need Dontavian Wicks to pull out his inner Marvin Mims. That is basically the only path that we have to actually having a chance to win.
Yeah, I mean, Thomas is pretty chalky. Jefferson's pretty chalky. Addison's moderately owned. Same with Hawkinson. And so is Jonnu. So, like, I mean, again, how many teams have all of those players? Probably not many, if any. So it's not like them going off is bad for us. It's just going to be hard necessarily to climb like crazy up the board, knowing where we're at right now. So let's just hope and pray that we get monster game out of Wicks because Watson's probably not going to play. We get a monster game we need a 20 bomb out of B-Tom, a 28 bomb out of Justin Jefferson. Let's get 30 out of Jacobs, 25 out of Spears, and 25 out of Hawkinson or something like that.
I also believe, if I'm not mistaken, Chess Liam tweeted it that there are no teams left with McBride and Higgins.
Okay, so that's good. That's good to know. Does anybody have McConkey, McBride, or
that's what I'll
Higgins,
search right
Burrow, now. McConkey?
Here, I'm gonna search.
If anyone has Higgins, Burrow, McConkey, they're going to be in really good shape.
Yeah, Burrow, Higgins, McConkey. Here, let me go to the finals. So let me type them in. Burrow.
But anyways, we do have a question queued up here from the site that we can get to first. Like I said, if you guys want to skip that, you can skip the line. You can go ahead and do that. We'll try and answer some questions, and our weekly rankings are free, which is
one team.
One team has Higgins, Burrow, and McConkey.
One team has Higgins, Burrow, McConkey. Another team has Burrow, Higgins, and Mims. How many have that? Burrow, Higgins, Mims. 2 teams have Burrow, Higgins, Mims.
Oh, yeah, that's a crazy. Like when you're drafting teams and you're like, oh man, in week 17, if you just get 2 Mims bombs and Burrow and Higgins go off, like that's the type of shit that you dream of when you make those selections. So that's definitely great news for whoever did that.
Is there any Burrow? There's also one team with Burrow, McBride, and Mims.
Yeah, that's a good looking team. The guy in first has Burrow, Higgins, Ladd. Spicy Hot says.
Damn.
But anyways, we got a flex decision here from Lewis. Tyreek,
Tajay. This is very easily Tajay for me.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of weather concerns, we do have potential wind and rain and whatnot in the Jacksonville, Tennessee game, which is not great for us because we need Brian Thomas Jr. to go off, but it is great for Tajay Spears, I would say. Yeah, weather, exactly. So the official report, let me read it right now, is the games that could have weather concerns today. We have 6 out of 10 concern for New York Jets at Buffalo Bills, 15 miles per hour, gusts of 30 miles per hour, winds with a slight crosswind. Rain is likely. So Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Allen, those guys are going to see a bit of a downgrade. Maybe I should pivot off of Aaron Rodgers in the flock league. Tennessee, Jacksonville, 5 out of 10 concerns, 20 mile per hour gusts by the looks of it. The primary concern in that game appears to be possible thunderstorms. So there could be a delay in that game at some point, and also just heavy rain potentially. And then the other games that have primary weather concerns, Sunday Night Football, 6 out of 10, 20 to 25 mile per hour gusts, rain likely in Atlanta and Washington. Miami and Cleveland, possible rain, gusts of 35 miles per hour plus in Cleveland. So people who were thinking, oh no, week 17 can't stack up Miami and Cleveland because of the possible weather concerns. Well, it's rain, not snow. That ends up being the case and materializing. And then Carolina, Tampa Bay, little bit of possible thunderstorms, but I would imagine it's because it's in Florida, just like the Jacksonville game. Those games will probably be very similar. Like if one game gets delayed because of thunderstorms, the other game is probably getting delayed because of thunderstorms as well. But just keep that in mind. We do in the 1 p.m. window, especially, and then on Sunday Night Football, we do have a number of games with weather concerns. But yeah, I'm rolling Tajay Spears over Tyreek Hill. Does Tyreek fit into the lineup? Otherwise,
Spears 1 p.m. right?
Yeah. And then there's only 4 p.m. The only 2 4 p.m. games on today are Miami and Cleveland, which no one's going to be watching, and Minnesota and Green Bay, which everybody's going to be watching. So
especially us.
Yeah, especially us. Exactly. So, like I said, if we have any more questions here, I'll just refresh and see if there's any. Okay, there is no more that came in, but if you guys do have some, you can skip the line. That way, let me think. What else was I going to say? I had something else at the tip of my mind here. Anyways, maybe we'll just go back to the top of the comments here and see if we got anything interesting. I was going to talk about quarterbacks because I have Rodgers.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. You kind of got cucked there.
I did. So, I mean, I don't want to spoil too many things for the Flock League, but essentially, I sat Patrick Mahomes because I'm a moron. But Patrick Mahomes was playing the Steelers. I didn't think he was going to have a great game. He, of course, has a great game. The reason I sat Patrick Mahomes is because I thought Anthony Richardson against the Giants was a fucking auto smash. And then Anthony Richardson gets ruled out. So I'm scrambling to find a quarterback this week. And Nathan, who I'm playing in the toilet bowl of the Flock League, picks up and drops like every quarterback. So Drake May was unavailable. Justin Herbert was unavailable.
Played good defense.
He played very good defense. He basically just picked up every quarterback he possibly could. So I would be screwed and I wouldn't have a quarterback to play. So now my options, I thankfully, while he was doing this, was able to salvage at least one guy. And I grabbed Aaron Rodgers, who of course has a bunch of weather concerns and a sprained ankle right now.
Yeah.
So now my options are, do I start Aaron Rodgers and just hope that he'll be fine and he's Aaron Rodgers and he'll figure it out? Or do I go to Kenny Pickett, Drew Lock, Mason Rudolph,
baby, embrace
Thompson Robinson? Like, I mean, to me, I look at this as
embrace the Rudolph, brother.
I actually think that Pickett is better option than Rudolph because Rudolph's also equally in a bad weather game. Like
Pickett has rib injuries, bro.
He does. You're right. But he has A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and Saquon Barkley that could house a 70-yard touchdown without him really having to do anything. And that game's indoors, so there's no weather concerns.
Cowboys defense been playing better as of late. I think
I'm just going to roll with Rodgers, to be honest. I know it's a bad game environment, a bad weather concern, but I'm just like, let me just roll with Aaron, to be honest.
I'm on the record saying I would go with Mason Rudolph over Aaron Rodgers.
Starting Mason Rudolph and being in the toilet bowl are synonymous with each other.
Dude, we just had Christmas. You're not even going to play Rudolph?
Oh, come on now. That's
I'm such a fucking kid. Holy shit.
Omar says, hey, boys, with Richardson being out, should I pivot to Flacco, Rudolph, or Rodgers? That's funny. So Flacco was unavailable as a pivot option to me, but if I had Flacco available, I would pivot to Flacco.
Yeah, no, I let me see where I have them between. I have Rudolph higher.
Oh, no way. You play Rudolph over Flacco? That's fucking insane.
I don't know, man. I think Jonathan Taylor's going to run wild today.
Sadly. I mean, he probably will, but like you heard me say that there's weather concerns in Tennessee, Jacksonville, right?
That's a good point. I'll lower him a little bit.
Yeah. Evan says,
I'm just looking at the Jaguars defense on the other end.
The Jaguars defense sucks, but to me, you got to go Flacco there. The Giants defense is equally bad, and there's no weather concerns.
Flacco's a good point. I'll move it Flacco.
Couple questions. Full PPR, ETN or Jaden Reed? Also full PPR, choose 2, London, Breece Hall, James Cook. Okay, so
gotta be Reed.
Yeah, gotta be Jaden Reed given the game environment there. That game has no weather concerns. There's a retractable roof. And full PPR.
Sorry, I just saw that. Could go back to the question about that.
2, London, Breece Hall, James Cook. I'm probably sitting James Cook there.
Yeah.
James Cook, the Bills, for what it's worth, if they get up big in the Jets in this game,
sit everybody.
They could sit everybody because they have nothing to play for next week.
They're locked in the 2 seed.
Yeah, they're essentially, they could still lose the 2 seed if they lost this week and lost next week and Baltimore won next week. Because Baltimore has the head-to-head tiebreaker against them because they beat the shit out of them on Sunday Night Football that 1 week. So they could still lose the 2 seed, but if they are winning the game against the Jets, they could pull starters at that point because there is no incentive for them to, after they win this game, to play in week 18. So James Cook would be at risk. Plus James Cook, if you've noticed, hasn't gotten more than like a 45% snap share in like 4 games.
Also, that is the big risk if you have, actually, it won't even matter, but I was going to say, never mind. Because what other teams are locked into their seed?
Oh, I have the playoff best ball master sheet. Also another plug I can
the Eagles
out here. So on the site on Flock Fantasy, I made a free article called the 2024 playoff best ball master sheet. So whether you're a subscriber or not, you can see this. If you're doing underdog fantasy playoff best ball drafts, you can go in and you can see exactly what, like, who's locked into what seed, what the playoff odds are. And I'll just show it right now, actually, so people can see it. So basically, again, this is a free resource. It's not like you don't have to pay for this or anything. This is how the AFC is stacked up right now. The only teams that are locked into their seed are Kansas City at 1, Houston at 4, but it is very likely that Baltimore will be the 3 and Buffalo will be the 2. And then the only thing that can really change is Pittsburgh, Los Angeles, and Denver, because Los Angeles plays the Raiders in week 18, which is probably a win for them. And then Pittsburgh plays the Bengals, but the Bengals could be playing for their chances at the playoffs. So that game's a lot more difficult. So my projection is that the Chargers will hop Pittsburgh if the Bengals beat them, and they'll become the 5 seed. The Steelers would then go down to the 6 seed. And of course, if Denver beats Kansas City, who's going to be resting their starters in week 18, they're going to be locked in to the 7 seed. But if Denver loses, then, and Cincinnati wins, and let's say Indianapolis or Miami drop a game in the next 2 weeks, then Cincinnati would make the playoffs. But if Indianapolis or Miami win both of their games, finaling out the season, they would be ahead of Cincinnati.
Question 2. Hypothetically, so go to the NFC side.
Yeah, the NFC is a lot more complex because the 1 and the 5 and the 7
the NFL's too smart.
South are not decided right now.
The NFL's too smart for what I was going to say because I just realized Vikings Packers at 4 p.m. So I was going to say, if all 3 games of the Lions, the Eagles, and the Vikings Packers game were on at the same time, theoretically, if the Eagles saw that the Vikings and the Lions were up big at half, they could have also rested their starters because they would then be locked into the 2 seed. Because basically how it works this week, even if Philly wins, if both the Vikings and the Lions win, Philadelphia cannot get the 1 seed. Yeah. Because the winner of that matchup next week,
they would both have to lose, actually, because
they would both have to lose.
They would both have to lose because if Detroit wins this week or Minnesota wins this week, then Philadelphia can't get the 1 seed. They would need both of them to lose this week. And then I can't remember which one of them they have the tiebreaker over the other. There's one they have a tiebreaker over, and then there's one that they don't. I think it's Vikings that they have the tiebreaker over. Yeah. So they would need both of them to lose this week, and then I think Detroit to win next week, or maybe Minnesota to win next week. I don't know. Regardless,
it won't be the case though, because the Vikings play at 4. So like the NFL schedule makers probably thought of that.
They're not gonna be scoreboard watching. The point is though, they're probably the 2 seed guaranteed. Like they're like. If they had beaten Washington last week, they'd have a very good chance of being the number 1 seed, but they lost to Washington. The NFC West winner, which will be Los Angeles, basically, all they have to do is like have a bunch of strength of schedule tiebreakers hit, which is like a couple teams that are totally unrelated winning. They're going to be the 3 seed. Atlanta and Tampa Bay, the way the playoffs are going to work here is whoever loses is out the next 2 weeks, basically.
Question. You have there that the Green Bay Packers are locked into the 6 seed. There's a scenario that they don't, and that would be if Washington overtakes them and wins, which is still possible.
Washington could overtake them and wins. You're correct. That's true. I would like. There's a 99% chance they're locked into the 6.
They would need to lose out, and Washington would need to win out.
Yeah. So you're right. They could technically lose the 6 seed. So I'll change this to yellow in a second. But more than likely they're locked into the 6 seed. So if you guys are doing playoff best ball drafts, this is an interesting resource you can use because then, as I have listed here. Going to the AFC side just to make it easier. Like if you draft, let's say Kansas City Chiefs, you can see AFC teams to pair with Kansas City. If you're trying to stack up, let's say you got 4 Chiefs on your team or whatever, and you're like, oh, I need 2 more players who are going to play in round 1 who could play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Buffalo and Baltimore make the most sense because they're the 2 and the 3 seed currently. They would not play Kansas City until the AFC Championship. Teams to avoid would be Houston any of the wild cards, basically, because the second that those teams win, assuming that Buffalo and Baltimore win, which is most likely what's going to happen because they're going to be favored by like 4 or 5 points at least in the first round, then you're looking at Kansas City taking on one of these teams in round 2. So that's why you pair 2 and 3 seed teams with the 1 seed team. The problem in the NFC is that we have no idea if Detroit's still going to be the 1 seed, if Minnesota's going to be the 1 seed. Philadelphia, like you said, could
hopefully
still
it's Minnesota for our teams that we already drafted sake.
Yeah, we did draft a couple Detroit teams that were not accounting for the fact that Detroit would have the 1 seed. We assumed that Philadelphia would get it, but then they dropped the game against Washington. So unfortunately, those teams might be dead. But at the very least, like if you're drafting teams right now, to me, the way to play this in the AFC is just fucking load up on Buffalo and Baltimore because they're going to have really good chances.
That's what I was going to ask too, dude. I think when we go to Buffalo, we're going to need to draft some more Chiefs teams because it almost looks like a sure lock. They're going to at least make the AFC Championship at this point.
Oh, I think they absolutely will. The challenge
and they'll host the game there.
Yeah, exactly. If they're hosting the AFC Championship game, let's say it's against Buffalo or Baltimore, they're going to be favored in that game because Arrowhead's a difficult place to play in. The challenging thing is you probably want to play the AFC side skinny, which is like, let's say you build out a Chiefs Eagles Super Bowl or something like that. You probably only need like 3 Chiefs on your team. Like you got Kelsey and Worthy and Noah Gray or something like that. Yeah. And then you build out Jalen Hurts, Saquon or Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert and Jahan Dotson on the other side or whatever.
Or if you're going to grab a Mahomes, you grab a quarterback that's in like a howitzer round 1 game, like a Baker Mayfield or like a Matthew Stafford type.
Yeah, exactly. So that's, again, the playoff best ball master sheet. You can definitely scared to fade Baltimore in playoff best ball. Yes. Right now I would be a little bit scared. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I would be. I'm never the Baltimore guy. I'm never in on Baltimore in the playoffs. This year I will be in on Baltimore. I think they have the defense playing better. I think they have the run game. I think Lamar is playing at a super high level. They have receivers stepping up. This is the year, in my opinion. If Baltimore does not make the Super Bowl this year, I don't know when they're ever going to. I think this is the year that they should make it because Kansas City is weaker than they usually are. Buffalo, while Josh Allen is a god,
I think KC and Buffalo beat them. I think KC and Buffalo beat them.
I think Baltimore would beat Buffalo, to be honest.
I don't. Buffalo would be hosting that game.
Well,
Buffalo would be hosting that game.
They would be, but like, just let's just pretend. Don't worry about who's hosting it. Just pretend that on a neutral field. What do they do well? They win games that they should win a lot better than Baltimore has. And Baltimore showed multiple lapses this regular season. Baltimore showed in the playoffs in high leverage spots. They lost by 2 touchdowns against the Chiefs last year. They've lost in big spots even at home. So for me, it's like until they do it, it's tough for me to believe that they'll go into Buffalo or they'll go into Kansas City and take down one of those 2 teams because of the experience alone. The only teams that Josh Allen has lost to in the playoffs have been Patrick Mahomes and Cincinnati Joe Burrow in a fucking snow game. Those are the only 2 teams that he's lost to. I just disagree, honestly. I think the way that you beat Buffalo is running the ball, which Baltimore can do at extremely, extremely high level.
I'm not concerned about them scoring points. I'm saying that Buffalo is going to outscore them because of how Buffalo
they lost 35-10 the last time that they played each other.
It's a regular season game, brother.
I know. I'm just saying, like, to me, I think everybody's gut.
I'm not saying they can't win, but it's tough for me to trust them straight up.
The AFC is soft in general, especially the 1 seed Kansas City Chiefs can be beaten. To me, this is the year that Baltimore can do it. That's why I'm saying if I had to pick an AFC team to go to the Super Bowl, that's going to be a good value in drafts and you can stack up really nicely. To me, it's Baltimore. And the NFC side of things, I think it's probably the Packers, but I don't love anybody on the NFC side, honestly.
But I don't think anybody's considering Baltimore like as a Packers tier. In that sense, like
no, they're not. I'm like here's my opinion on the AFC side of things and the NFC side of things. There are 3 teams that are going to be in the AFC Championship, and I do not see a reasonable outcome where it's not 2 or the 3 that we just mentioned.
Yeah,
and the NFC, Houston? I think there's six teams that could make the NFC Championship.
6 is a stretch.
So I seriously, I don't think that
you guys aren't making it, bro. Let's be real.
I don't think there's any one superpower in the NFC. That's all I'm saying is that if you're going to go crazy, going to get weird in one conference, it should be the NFC. Like
respectfully,
stack up your Rams, stack up your Packers, stack up your Bucks or your Falcons, whatever team makes it in.
Respectfully, brother, I mean this with all due respect. the Commanders and the Buccaneers are not making the NFC Championship.
I didn't say the Commanders. I think the Buccaneers could do it.
I disagree. That's what I mean. I think 5, sure. You guys aren't making the NFC Championship. I'll put anything on that.
The two best teams in the NFC we beat.
You just lost to the Cowboys last week.
I know.
Okay.
This is my point, though. The NFC.
You sound like me right now, bro. You sound like me right now.
The NFC is wide open. It's not a Bucks take necessarily.
Dude, you just lost to the Cowboys.
Also, I'm talking about the Falcons too. Like, it could be the Falcons as well. It's not just the Bucks.
Neither of you guys are making the NFC Championship, bro. Come on.
I don't think that Detroit. Like, I think Detroit has serious warts. I think Philadelphia has serious warts. I think the Packers and the Rams have serious. My point. The Vikings
and the Bucks don't.
No, they all do. That's my point. The whole conference is wide open.
Dude, you sound like me right now. Bro, you called me a homer for saying a 12-win Cowboys team could make the NFC Championship as the 2 seed last year, and now you're hyping up your 8-7 Bucks team.
If it makes all of you guys happy.
This is insane. No, I got to call this out because you called me out last year, bro. Let's stop.
This was never a Bucks take. If this makes all of you happy, let's remove Tampa Bay or the NFC South winner from this. 5 teams can make a run in the NFC South. Does that make you guys all happy? I don't give a fuck about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We're not going to win the Super Bowl.
I just have to call you out because, like, sometimes it's hypocrisy when you get on me for hyping up my Cowboys and then boom.
Oh my God. My point was just that there was a couple NFC teams that could make a run, and there's basically one or 2 or 3, that can do it in the AFC. Like, there is
I agree with that.
0 chance that the Texans, the Steelers, the Chargers, or Broncos make a run at the Super Bowl. None.
I just had to call you out because I'm like, if I'm going to get the heat sometimes, I got to give it back to you.
I mean, Danny's still doing the thing where he only heard one part of my entire argument, which is that I think that the Bucks can make the Super Bowl.
I heard you say 6 teams in the NFC can make the Super Bowl. I'm like, what?
Well, realistically, I actually think all 7 teams could make a run at the Super Bowl on the NFC side because I think the NFC is that soft. I think it's that flat of a tier. I think any team that makes the playoffs in the NFC could go to the Super Bowl.
Respectfully, the Eagles would be favored by 8 points against you guys.
Okay, well, we're not going to play them, first of all. I mean, in the second round, we did. And also, we beat the daylights out of them last year in the playoffs. So, again, you're coming at me.
All right. You're comparing an Eagles team that lost, 6 of their last 7 games, that literally hated their offensive coordinator.
Beat the brakes off of them this year, too.
All right, bro. What?
I mean, you keep coming at me like I'm being biased. Like we didn't.
Bro, you just lost to the Cowboys and you're telling me you're going to make the Super Bowl. Let's stop. You lost to Cooper Rush. You just lost to Cooper Rush.
You lost to your defensive line, not to Cooper Rush.
You lost to Cooper Rush and go.
Okay, whatever.
Fucking CD Lamb with a string bean of a shoulder.
Okay. 5 teams in the NFC can make the Super Bowl. Happy?
Sorry, I had to troll you.
Okay. Well, whatever. My point is, get weird on the NFC side of things. Stack your Vikings, stack your Rams, stack your Packers, stack your Eagles, stack your Lions. I do think that's the conference to get weird.
Fucking Rashad White needs to be locked up.
Lock in Bucky. Yeah, agreed.
Cooper Rush.
Also, Curse Sniper says, guys, I tried using Flock to do a start sit. It's bugging out. Do you guys have any tip options here anymore? Okay, that's weird.
Yeah, what is going on there? Okay, let's see.
It is made here. Let me double check it's working. Apologies. If it's not working, I can turn on super chats really quick for this stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't appear to be working. Okay, I'll turn on super chats really quick. If anybody does want to skip the line, I'll turn those on.
Okay. Yeah, we'll mention that to the devs. Thank you for letting us know. Yeah, apparently the payment's not going through. Yeah, we'll have to. I'll put it in the Discord while you're doing that.
I'm trying to figure out where it is. Do you remember how we turned them off?
It would be in the settings and it would be in chats, I believe. I'm just gonna quickly message it in the creator chat as well.
Okay, well then we're both doing something right now. Oh, monetization. Here it is. I think.
Multiple users in our.
Okay, I can't find the option for it. Customization. Maybe home tab. No, can't find it.
Yeah, it says it's just
community. No,
feedback is it won't load
revenue. I can't find the option to put super chats back on.
Here, I got it.
Oh, earn. Maybe this is it.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, I just let the dev team know. We will put on Super.
Okay. You guys should. Yeah. Okay. It just keeps spinning. Okay. You guys should be able to super chat on YouTube now for this live stream. If you guys do.
I mentioned it in the chat yesterday. I tried to give a voucher on the site, and that was also bugging out. So I added the devs in the chat as well.
Yeah. Like I said, it should it should work on YouTube. Maybe refresh your page. Yeah. To anybody in the chat here as well. It should let you super chat.
We turned supers on now. Again, apologies for anybody with that inconvenience. Thanks for bringing that up, though. Thanks for bringing that to our attention.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, let me go back up to where we were.
I'm too busy giving you shit on fucking Tampa Bay, and then there's like a legit like issue. So
all I'm saying is that if we go to the NFC Championship, you owe me an apology.
Buddy, I could have said the same thing about Dallas last year. We were
yeah,
12 win 2 seed, and you called me a fucking delusional homer.
I didn't call you a delusional homer. I just said you realize you're going to lose to the Packers, right? And I just kept saying it, and you got mad every time.
Well, buddy, there's a difference between a 12-5 2 seed and a fucking what are you going to be, a 9-8?
No, we'd be 10-7 if we went out
with a loss of the Cowboys.
Yeah, so. I can point to any team in the NFL losing a game they shouldn't have lost. The fucking Raiders got wiped by.
Oh no! Watching that game, it looks like we should have won it. I'm just saying.
I know. The Ravens lost to the Raiders. The Chiefs actually the only losses.
Different scenario, bro.
The Broncos barely lost to the fucking Chiefs, man. Like it's any team can beat any team on any given week.
Respectfully, we had Baker in hell.
Yeah, I know. Spears, Hollow, Taylor, pick. Okay.
Eagles or Miami defense need to sit one. Brees, Spears, Jennings, half PPR. So Eagles versus Miami defense. This is a weird spot. I want to say Eagles because there's no CeeDee Lamb on the other side, but
dude, weather game, Miami. I'm thinking Miami, 100%.
Miami.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's a good point.
TR in a weather game. That is a fucking defensive. That's glorious.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I don't know. Maybe I'm too harsh on my own team. I'm like, how does our offense move the ball without CeeDee Lamb? That's what I'm kind of concerned about. But that's a fair point because Miami should get some pressure on DTR.
Yeah, you guys are gonna make the Super Bowl too.
And you're sitting Jennings very comfortably here.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Definitely Jennings.
Yep. How are we feeling about Downs now with Flacco? Quarterback, it's either him, Wicks, or Reed. I know you guys are high on Green Bay, but only asking because it's against the Giants. So Downs versus Wicks and Reed.
Downs with Flacco. I'm taking Downs with Flacco over Reed.
Call me crazy. I don't think either of those two are the answer. And I'm not just saying that because of our team.
It's not, dude, that's coping.
Christian Watson is out, bro. And the last time he played the Vikings, he had 5 for 78 and 2. Again, you want to go against them, sure, but
that's straight.
You heard it here first. No, it's
that's
not
way worse than me saying the Bucks are going to
not even remotely as bad. The fuck are you talking about?
You saying Wicks is the answer to this question? Is
5 for 78 and 2. 5 for 78 and 2 last time against Minnesota. The single easiest matchup on the matchup chart. You would know that. Guess who made it?
Okay, if that's the case, then the answer is Reed.
I'd like Wicks better than Reed this week.
That's high.
Christian Watson's going to be out, bro. It's different if Watson is playing. That's one thing. Anytime one of the top 3 wide receivers is out, Wicks gets targeted. Now I'm going to knock on wood and stop talking about it, but yeah, I see spicy in the back. I got you. I'm not going to say.
I mean, I agree. I hope it happens, but you're fucking coping.
Go next.
Anyways, next question.
Center points for championship: Darnold or Allen, and flex wise, McMillan, Jonnu, Ridley, Reed. Pick 2. I mean, you're going Allen over Darnold. I understand that Darnold has a nice matchup. I understand it's a great game environment, but Josh Allen is Josh Allen. I'm not sitting him in championship week. And flex wise, McMillan, Jonnu, Ridley, or Reed. I think you got to go Ridley. Although the weather concerns do make it closer between him and McMillan, but I think I still lean Ridley.
Yeah, I would still lean Ridley. I think I might even have Reed slightly higher than McMillan.
I have McMillan higher than Reed.
No, I have McMillan 1 spot higher than Reed, but I do have Ridley like 5 spots higher than both of them. So yeah, I would go with Ridley as well.
Yep. Bucks or Miami defense. Shout out Corey, by the way, 33 months as a member there. Bucks or Miami defense. Could go Miami.
Awesome options, to be honest.
I would be. I can convince myself of a scenario that Bryce Young cooks you guys. I can't convince myself of a scenario that DTR cooks Miami.
Yeah, I agree. I have Miami defense as the top 3 defensive play this week, but I have Tampa at 6. So they're both really good plays.
Half PPR flex, Addison, Abdullah, Madison, Blackshear. I mean, I guess I'm just going to plead the 5th because anytime I fucking...
Oh, Addison. Sorry, Addison, not Madison. I didn't see Addison's name. I saw Abdullah / Madison / Blackshear. It's Addison. I see. You do this all the time. I'm allowed to miss.
No. I didn't think you. I thought you saw Addison's name and still said Madison.
No. I'm anti-Madison these days.
Yeah, you've grown.
I have.
I played the 5th.
Shut up, dude. This is Laporta, and it's not even close.
It's pick 2, but.
Okay, well, Laporta, I don't think it's outrageous to say that you don't want to play Dowdle today against the Eagles defense.
No CeeDee Lamb.
I don't think no CeeDee Lamb with Cooper Rush against the Eagles defense. If you want to say Wicks here, I don't think that one's outrageous.
I love my boy Dowdle, but that smells like a 16 for 48 and 2 catches for 13-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to go for the spike week upside, I mean, the nice thing about a lot of these start sits today is that you guys should know, relatively speaking, how your matchup is going so far because there's been so many games. But I would go Laporta and Wicks if you're down. If you need the floor, I guess you could go Dowdle, but I think Wicks is probably the right answer there.
Yeah, championship week, you got to go for the ceiling because realistically, if you miss out on the 6 points Dowdle gives you this week, then so be it. Chigakonkwo, Tyrone Tracy, Rico Dowdle, full PPR. It's Tyrone Tracy for me. Tyrone Tracy got cleared off of the injury report on Friday. He did miss Thursday's practice, which is a little bit weird. I believe he returned to practice on Friday, immediately got taken off the injury report. Sounds like he's going to be ready to go.
Yeah.
Good matchup too.
Yeah, he's going to be fine. Who do you have higher between Dobbs and Wicks, by the way?
Wicks. I mean, I just told you I had Wicks over Reed.
I get why you're doing this, but like
I swear it's not even because of our BBM.
Can you do me a solid and rank them below both of them so that it reverse jinxes our team? Because I have a feeling we're going to get 3 for 20 out of Wicks because you think he's like an elite player.
I would, but respectfully, I got to give my honest opinion to the people out there that have the rankings.
I mean, respectfully, Dobbs has played over Wicks all year. What makes
it's not about play? It's not about play over who. It's about Christian Watson being out, meaning that he's going to be on the field, and anytime he's on the field, we have seen Jordan Love target him again. That's all I'm going to say on it. I don't want to fucking fuck off, Arthur. No, I'm not even reading that out,
dude. Like, so he's played 1, 2.
Look at the targets per route run, but
he's played 4 games this year with over 75% of the reps.
Yeah.
So to your point, in those games, Watson was probably out or whatever. He had 24.8 points in week 4, top 3 receiver. In week 5, he had 4 points.
Yeah, look at the targets.
Week 13, he had 7 points. In week 14, he had 8.9 points. So he has 3 games where he's played a full-time role.
Look at the targets.
4 games, and he's been good in one of them.
Yep, look at the targets.
In those games.
Yep.
Let me see what we got here.
Yep. Again, I want to stop talking about this because we have them. I don't want to say anything else because it's fucking bad juju.
6 targets, 5 targets, and 5 targets, and then 13 in the game that he popped off.
Target shares though, they've been lower passing volume games to be fair, and Minnesota is the biggest pass funnel in the NFL.
I don't know. These sound like copium to me. There's a lot of mental.
I'm just telling you where I'm at with it. I made the whole case on my wide receiver show. Whether you agree with me or not, that's fine. But at the same time, Christian Watson is looking like he'll be out. If Christian Watson plays, it's a fucking completely different story. But
I agree with Arthur. You do not get points for targets.
Fine. Be my guest. You get opportunity to get.
I hope you're right, Danny. But I have a
feeling dude. I mean, you're the one that's bringing it up way too much. Spicy wants to kill you in the back seat right now. I already told you I'm fine closing my mouth on this, and you keep bringing it up. Spicy knows he's laughing.
I'll keep yapping about it, so I'm the one who looks stupid. How about that?
Go ahead. I hope so.
Okay.
Spicy, please. I know.
Purdy or Baker playing against Mike Evans PPR. I mean, I would play Baker regardless, but knowing that you can block Mike Evans, definitely play Baker.
Yeah, I mean, I have Baker over Evans or over Purdy.
Yeah, I have Baker as like QB6 this week, and Purdy's outside my like top 10. So yeah, easy win there. Achane or Spears, full PPR, it's down Spears. 10 going in today.
It's Spears.
Yeah. I mean, they're both weather games.
We've seen how the Miami offenses looked like without Tua Tagovailoa.
You're right. I did have Achane one spot ahead of Spears, but you are definitely correct. Spears.
I moved Achane down to like RB 16 this week.
Yeah, I need to move James. I'm going to move James Cook down too because I think the weather plus the fact that they could sit him or whatever in the second half means he should probably be behind Aaron Jones and Spears and Achan and those guys.
Yeah. Can't get myself to sit H. Yeah, I mean, it's Spears though. Especially if you're down 10 and you need upside. Respectfully, in that Miami Dolphins offense, I have trouble seeing upside.
Yeah. Full PPR, Ford, Tracy, Reed, or McMillan. Probably Ford, right?
Let me see who's higher between him and I have Tracy 2 spots higher.
Really? You're the Ford guy normally.
I like Ford. They're 17 and 19 respectively. I just have Tracy at 17.
Okay. I think I have Ford. Where do I have Ford? I think I have him 18. Ford I have at 19 and Tracy I have at 22.
I just have Tracy higher than you. That's really the difference.
Yeah.
Honestly, once I saw he was off the injury report, I'm like, okay, he's going to get a workload. We know he's going to get receiving usage. Like, I'm perfectly fine with him, especially in a good matchup against Indy.
I won't argue against it. I honestly, given the game environment now, I might even agree with you. I might need to move Ford down a little bit because it's you know what the over. Can you guess what the over under of that game is?
36.5.
Lower.
33.5.
Lower.
31.5.
No, it's 33. But 33 points expected in that Browns Dolphins game. Like, you severely have to downgrade. Tyreek's a low end wide receiver 2. Dude, is a high end running back 2, probably.
Tyreek low end wide receiver 2, buddy. I have my wide receiver 35 this week.
Holy shit! Okay, I don't have him now.
He was wide receiver 24 before Tua got announced out.
Where do you have Garendo ranked?
20.
Yeah, I got to move him up a little bit. Would you rather start him or Jerome Ford?
Him or Jerome Ford? Ford by 1 spot in my ranking.
I would start Garendo now, given that game environment.
Well, that's where my rankings got lost.
I got to move Tyreek down. I have him at 16.
I had him at 24 before Tua got announced out.
I'm not going to put him as low as you have him, but I'm going to throw him down to 25.
For reference, Bush, wide receivers I would play over Tyreek Hill this week. Like, being dead ass.
Mental names here.
Darnell Mooney.
No way. No way.
Why not? Against Washington on Sunday Night Football?
Dude.
Monday night or Sunday Night Football against
I don't care, dude. That game's supposed to have weather implications too, and Tyreek is Tyreek.
Sunday Night Football. Jaden Reed. I would play.
There's no way you would play Jaden Reed over Tyreek.
He's not the only Green Bay Packer. I'm not even going to say
Oh my god, dude, you have Wicks over Tyreek. You need to get out of this call right now.
Adam Thielen, Jameson Williams, Jalen McMillan, Jacoby Myers, Jawan
Don't
Jennings.
Listen to this. Don't listen to these takes.
Buddy, he had 3 catches for 29 yards last week, and he had 2 catches for 36 yards the week before, and that was with Tua.
I get that. He's still fucking
in a 33 over-under game with
Tyreek Hill, dude.
33 over-under game with fucking Tyler Huntley starting. Be my guest and go and start him.
I don't want to start Tyreek. I'm obviously pissed that Tua is not playing. And for what it's worth, Tua is doubtful. So it's possible that depending on what happens in the 1 p.m. window or whatever, then maybe Tua plays in the game. But
he's not playing.
Man, I can't. Tyreek is not the type of guy that you're going to be able to sleep at night knowing you lost your fucking fantasy football championship because you benched Tyreek Hill for like Jalen McMillan or something.
I'm going to sleep like a baby knowing that he didn't have a single double-digit point week in the games that Tua didn't start this year.
I get it. I get that. He's still Tyreek Hill, in my opinion. I can't live with him unless I got a really good option.
Is he still Tyreek Hill, though? Because that's the question I have. I don't think he's Tyreek Hill.
Oh, man. I agree. I mean, Mountain Man Mike says
I don't think there's
Tyreek against Bush for the ceiling play. I mean, he's also down like 70 points, so he kind of needs to. But dude,
shoot the messenger. That's fine.
I can't live with myself if I sit Tyreek Hill in the fantasy championship and he goes off for 30 points. I can't live with myself at that point.
I'll sleep like a baby because I don't see a scenario where he scores 30 plus points. The last 2 weeks he hasn't scored 30 plus points combined with Tua starting.
I know that he's had bad games with Tyler Huntley, but there was a game with Tyler Huntley that he was like an fingertip grab away from having like a 40 point.
And what you've seen,
he had 2 fucking bombs that he barely got missed on.
What you've seen from Tyreek Hill as of late, does it look like he's making those plays right now?
No, but I can pull up your whole fucking Dontavian Wicks argument and look at his target shares in those games.
They haven't been high, bro. They have been throwing the football with Tua, and he's still been urine. Now imagine when fucking Tyler Huntley goes out there and throws the ball 21 times.
Where the hell is he going to go in redraft next year? Tyreek? He's not a top 2 round pick. He's probably not a top 3 round pick. I'm not going to lie to you, dude. If he's a 3rd round pick, I might have 40% of him. This is Tyreek Hill, dude. This is one of the best fantasy receivers ever.
Is it still Tyreek Hill?
It might be.
He looks washed.
I don't want to say he looks washed, man. This was a guy coming into the year that I was like, dude, I don't think there's a hole in his profile.
Dude, he looks. I mean, I literally brought this up. I'm like, he's an older wide receiver. He could very well just drop off in talent, and like the guy.
He could, yeah, and I think he has, but he also could just be hurt.
It could be.
He's been banged. He's got like a broken hand all year or something. Like,
yeah, I mean, you could tell with how he's been catching the ball. He hasn't been.
I know. It's I don't.
All right, let me ask you this one. Right now, from what we know, Brandon Ayuk maybe starts the year on the pup or whatever.
I would take Tyreek Hill easily over Brandon Ayuk.
No, not Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk starts the year on the pup. Are you taking Deebo Samuel or are you taking Tyreek Hill next year?
I would take Tyreek Hill with ease.
Really? Okay.
With ease. Not even close.
Okay.
If I got Miami Dolphins, Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, Tyreek Hill, I'm taking Tyreek Hill over probably everyone in fantasy at wide receiver sans like 10 names. He'd probably be a top 12 receiver still in my ranking.
You can't take him over Terry McLaurin.
No, I probably wouldn't take him over McLaurin.
You can't take him over A.J. Brown. You can't take him over Devontae Adams. You can't take him over JSN.
I would easily take him over Devontae Adams. Are you kidding me?
Why?
Devontae Adams on the Jets again with Rodgers? Is that what's happening?
Devontae Adams has been a wide receiver once since he's got there.
He's been good, but I would still rather have Tyreek Hill.
I disagree.
That's fair. They're both old receivers. I mean,
you're taking your boy Mike Evans. You're taking Brian Thomas.
I would take Tyreek over Mike Evans next year. With Godwin back, I would take Tyreek easily over Mike Evans. Godwin, I would probably take Godwin.
All right. Yeah, you guys got me. Wait, is this the one we left off on, right?
No, it was not.
This one. Start Browns defense or Raiders defense. I mean, versus the Saints versus the Dolphins.
They're both like elite defense.
You probably go Browns.
The Browns have better defensive players would be the tiebreaker. Like you got Garrett and those guys that can make plays. So I would just take the Browns defense.
Yep. You guys got me to the chip. Let's go. Full PPR. Would you guys start Kraft or Chig in Dallas versus Kenny Pickett or Raiders versus Rattler? So first part of the question, I believe this is really close between them.
These are disgusting fucking options at quarterback.
I have Kraft tight end 7 and Chig tight end 9. So I would go with Kraft by a hair.
They're not that close for me. I would easily go Kraft.
Yeah, maybe I got a lower. Actually, a couple guys got locked in, but I was gonna say maybe I would lower Chig a little bit because of the weather concerns. But Andrews, Henry, and Schultz already got locked in, so it looks.
You want to talk about Strange? Chig is the new Strange. Well, he got targets for 2 games his whole career. Like he's gonna fucking drop 2 points this week. I'm certain of it.
Respectfully, if you have looked at the tight end landscape, 21 targets in 2 games, you're not getting much else from that.
Yeah,
not getting
for
much
sure.
Else. Over that, sorry. Raiders versus Rattler very comfortably for me. Respectfully, New Orleans doesn't have any skill players that actually worry me. Whereas there are guys like Saquon, like AJ, like Smith, like you said, that can have the big play.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I misread this question. I thought he was asking about the quarterbacks.
Yeah, Jamilian, we're not doing that. Fuck off.
I don't know, dude. Dallas versus Kenny Pickett is really interesting. Rib injury at home for Dallas. They've been playing well, dude. I think Raiders without Max Crosby, I don't really buy that they're going to have a huge game against. I know Rattler sucks and the Saints suck, but I'd rather start Dallas's defense.
Hey, Jamilian, you want to talk shit? See you later, buddy. Go watch another stream.
Our rankings are free, guys. Like if you don't want to hear, if you just want to know who to start, like they're free. It's in the description.
Literally made them free, and buddy wants to complain that we're arguing on the stream. Like, I'm sorry, this is the first FSC stream you've watched, but we have fun.
Sometimes we're not in argumentative moods, but we woke up feeling a little violent today, apparently.
We got to have a little bit of bite. It's championship week. Brees, Achane, Spears start 2 half PPR. The answer to your sit is Achane. Straight up.
Yeah, you got to sit Achane here. That's insane. That's
I don't know if that's his name.
Oh man, Brees unreliability versus Achane's bad matchup is a hard conundrum that you have there. Because at least with Achane, it's like even in bad matchups, he's getting targets, blah blah blah. Brees Hall might have 12 carries for 40 yards in this game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, respectfully for Achane, So if I go here, boom. So what? Tua got injured against Buffalo, I believe, right? Am I not mistaken? When did he get injured?
Buffalo in week 3.
Buffalo week 2, right? Okay. So it was between weeks 3 and 7 that he was without him. HN in those games, 8.8 PPR points, 5.9, 2.7, 10.5. Tua returns immediately back up to 26 points.
Oh, he was dog shit without Tua. That's
yeah.
The arguments are top tier.
All right, you got where we left off, right?
Yeah, I do.
Right. I could keep an eye on supers.
There's no also like I can't imagine that our arguments are actually top tier. Also, just because I want to know if I'm nuts or not. What round do you guys think Tyreek Hill should go in fantasy next year? Let's just say, all things being equal, it's the same offense that we've always known. It's Tua, it's McDaniel, it's Waddle, it's Tyreek. Same exact projection we had on Tyreek this year, only now we've seen like a fall off from like a talent standpoint, and the offense looks like it's not nearly as bulletproof with McDaniel as before. Like, what round do you guys take Tyreek Hill? To me, on Underdog, when BBM 6 opens, he'll still be
third round's the reasonable spot.
I think he'll be a 2-3 turn pick.
Okay, so let's go through it right now. Actually, you know what? That's a perfect exercise that we could do for a video going into next week. Way too early, 2024 drafts.
2025, you mean?
2025, correction. Way too early, 2025 mock draft. Because we also have resources like Big Loaf. Shout out Big Loaf if you guys are unfamiliar on Twitter. He does leave where he thinks the ADP is going to end up. We could use that as a reference, but obviously, like, pick as we would pick, like we usually do. So
my guess would be he's precisely a 2-3 turn pick, and that's where he goes. And we're gonna hear some shit this offseason that, like, this is where I'm probably gonna have him ranked, Caleb, because to me, if we hear some shit like, Tyreek was dealing with a broken hand last year, blah, blah, blah. Tua obviously missing all that time kind of threw the offense out of whack, and Mike McDaniels learned a bunch of shit. Like, if you guys recall in 2022, we all thought that Sean McVay was no longer a huge sharp either. And then in 2023, he came out and like re-innovated his offense. And I do think McDaniel could do the same thing.
I also think Caitlin makes a good point here. We have seen the context of the offense change this year. A lot more designed work with the HN, a lot more designed work with Jonnu, a lot more instances where Tua is just getting the ball out of his hands. And I do agree, it's a certain point that they want to protect him.
Tyreek's not going to retire this year. He signed a 2-year deal last year, and he said he wanted to play one more year. So I think he's going to play again next year. But I agree. I think, you know what makes a lot of sense if you think about it? Look at Carolina's interior offensive line and the way they run the ball. They got Robert Hunt from Miami. And look how Miami's run the ball this year relative to what they did last year. Like, there's the offensive line issues, Tua's injury, the way McDaniels called the offense. Everybody's to blame right now. Like, Waddle hasn't played well. Tyreek hasn't played well. Achane hasn't been as efficient. Like, everybody's to blame. I guess my point on the whole Dolphins offense is, I guess I'm just buying the dip because I still think that McDaniel's a good coach. I still think all those players are talented.
Yeah. Basically, I just looked at it right now. Obviously, again, this actually probably going to change a lot because this was December 2nd. But as of December 2nd, he had Tyreek Hill at the 2-7. Again, some of the micro names ahead of him were like Cook, Walker, which will not go ahead of him in real drafts. But like Brock Bowers is going to go above him. Drake London is going to go above him. Jonathan Taylor, depending on what the Colts do, probably going to go above him.
Yeah.
Trey McBride, I would take above Tyreek Hill next year.
In best ball, sure. And managed, I probably wouldn't.
I think both quarterbacks with Lamar and Allen should go above him.
I don't.
Why not?
Because the quarterback position in best ball is very easy to supplement production. I would not do that.
Look at the top teams that advanced to the final of BBM. Like Jaden
this year's sample was uniquely very high end. Quarterbacks did really well because the middle class didn't really exist.
Brian Thomas Jr. very comfortably. If Chase Brown is back on the Bengals and they don't have a significant,
I would take Chase Brown ahead of him too.
Terry McLaurin, we just talked about. This is the interesting one. Christian McCaffrey or Tyreek Hill next year in best ball?
I think both of them will find themselves in Devontae Adams territory from this year, where they're like mid to late second rounders, and people like just are like, oh, well, what if they're just like the same elite player that they always were, or whatever. I could see that being the case, but if I had to say gun to my head right now, I'd rather have McCaffrey. I think, to be honest with you, I think McCaffrey should still be a late first round pick next year.
Late first, I probably wouldn't sign off, but second round, I think that's about where I'd land there. But yeah, I just wanted to go through some of those names. Again, we will get back to the questions. Apologies for those that are waiting on some questions. Colts or Miami defense, please explain why and thanks.
Colts because Tommy DeVito or Drew Lock or whoever that's why.
Then, can I counter you with Miami because of DTR and weather?
So here's the thing. the Colts are my defense 2 this week. The Dolphins are my defense 3.
Yeah.
So the answer is whatever your heart desires, because you got 2 of the best 3 defensive options in fantasy this week, in my opinion. I would lean with Colts because they have better defensive players and the Giants are a complete and utter dumpster fire, whereas Cleveland, has a little bit more firepower on offense to burn you there, even if the offensive game environment and the over-under is going to be shaky there. I just prefer the Colts slightly. It's really close, though.
Yeah. Let me see here. Shout out Felix. If you have a comment, feel free to leave it. I will jump to it as Corey goes back to the top.
Yeah, I'm going back up to the top. I didn't see his comment there, but
no, I just rewrite it at the bottom and I can skip to it. I have a
Ray. I was going to answer this, but then we didn't get to it. But the answer is Taylor. And do you have Hall or Spears higher?
Spears.
Yeah, I have Spears 1 spot higher as well. So that would be Jonathan Taylor and Tajay Spears for us. Still deciding for me, wide receiver 2. Should I go with Devontae Adams with the weather and the injury actually too, or do you go with Drake London? There's weather concerns in that game too. So, weather is the concern in both games.
I like Drake London regardless, dude. I really do think with Michael Penix back, Drake. The other thing too, Devontae Adams, he is cleared to play, but he has been dealing with that hip issue, so that is still something to monitor a little bit. Older wide receiver. If they go down big, does he play the entire second half? Like, there's more worries there.
Washington Atlanta game is like a game that Atlanta's got to have. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to be focused on getting the ball in London's hands or in Moody's hands or whatever. Like, that game is just way more important for Atlanta. I'd rather trust Drake London in that game environment.
I see Felix's comment. Give me Bucky Irving over James Cook this week for sure.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I'm definitely taking Bucky Irving there.
James Cook or HM PPR. Thanks for the advice. It's funny because both these are guys that I dropped down, but I still think the answer is James Cook. Even if he only plays a half, I'd be confident in saying he can outscore Devon HM this week.
Oh man, I don't like either of these guys this week. If I'm being 100% honest with you, speaking of James Cook, what would you do in the listener league? In my spot, I'm already up big. You go on James Cook or Malik Neighbors?
If Neighbors plays, I think I go Neighbors. Just because you're getting that consistent target backdrop on him.
I know, that's what I was thinking too. Because originally I was going to go James Cook, but I think who's more of a risk to drop 4 points? To me, it's James Cook over Neighbors. Because Neighbors, I guess, could re-aggravate the injury, but James Cook.
He's been playing injured for the last few weeks, bro.
James Cook getting pulled in the third quarter because they're up by 26 points or something seems way more likely than Neighbors getting re-injured to me.
For sure.
It's also a tough run defense too.
Wow. Look where we're at now, bro. Kyle Pitts went from gold standard to Zacchaeus stocks.
Oh my God, dude.
Fuck. In a 1.5 premium, I think you go with Pitts, but dude, the fall from grace is crazy.
Watson rolled out, by the way. Christian Watson rolled out. Huge for us.
Light your candles, boys. Light your candles, boys and girls. Let's go. Light your candles.
He's referring to Dontavian Wicks season. Pitts or Zacchaeus 1.5 tight end premium. Yeah. I know this is disgusting, but they're both terrible options. Give me the premium of Pitts.
That's where I'm at as well. You ready, Corey? Oh, Corey talking to Corey. Okay.
He is, yeah. We got in the Bush League Dynasty Best Ball League. We got a Corey v. Corey violence here. I'm up currently 122.04 to 92.12 against Corey. He still got James Cook to go. He still has Brian Thomas to go, Brock Purdy to go, Adam Thielen to go, Garendo to go, Waddle to go. And I've had a couple of big performances so far. T. Higgins had a monster game for me. Kyler had an okay game, but I still got Chan. I still got Jefferson. I still got Garrett. I still got Rashad White. I still got Mooney. I still got Tracy. I still got Ferguson. I still got Laporta. So I'm feeling like I'm going to take him down personally. But it's going to be a battle. I'm up 30 with, in my opinion, better projections left, but he has a couple good options that could kill me too.
Yes, sir. D Harvey here. Do you have a comment? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he said Reed, Ford, or Tracy. I couldn't put in the comment.
Tracy. Close up. It's Tracy.
That is close. This is really close, man.
Tracy. Cabron.
I'd go with Tracy, but like if you told me that you wanted to just ride with the best offense, the game that means the most, and you wanted to go with Jaden Reed here, I don't mind that take either, especially if you need a ceiling. Like I think Reed's ceiling is higher than both of theirs.
Agreed. Hey, boys, you going Blackshear or Boone?
Blackshear, I guess.
I would go with Blackshear based off the info we have.
And PPR scoring would favor Blackshear as well.
By the way, shout out Mr. Shuda, Neil himself. Hello, Sharps, Downs or Garendo PPR or
And or
Wicks in the comment. I think you got to go with Garendo. It sounds like he's going to be playing. That's a very good game environment against the Lions this week. You don't agree? Don't agree with
I'm going
Garendo?
Downs, bro. Joe Flacco, Josh Downs. That's a connection and built in heaven right there. That Josh Downs against the Giants with Joe Flacco
I like
playing
Garendo.
quarterback, he's going to have 120 yards today.
I like Garendo, but if
I'm
you
moving
are
Downs up my rankings, dude. I got him way too low. I think he's a fucking smash this week.
yeah, I mean,
I'd rather start Josh Downs than Devontae Smith, dude. Dead ass.
dude, I have Devontae Smith buried. You can't. You don't have to convince me on that.
I'd rather.
Where do you have Devontae
Downs
Smith?
than Tyreek.
Where do you have Devontae? Yeah, I mean, that's not saying much.
Yeah, I have Josh Downs at 25.
Okay, I mean, I'm gonna move him up actually over a couple of those guys, but I have my 34. Yeah.
Let me just put it this way: if we
Tyreek Hill and
what
Devontae
these
Smith,
guys
I
have
have
done
buried.
all year, we got like Wicks doesn't factor into this decision for me just because he has had like one good game all year, and I get he projects well this week, but Downs has been a 30% target share receiver all fucking season long, and Garendo's a workhorse running back. So to me, that's the decision point.
Yeah,
but in PPR, Downs' floor is like 6 for 70 in this game, in my opinion.
See, I disagree because I do think there's a possibility Colts go up 14-0 off of Jonathan Taylor, and then the Giants mail it in because they're going to get the first pick.
They could. You're right, but like there's still.
I personally, if you're going to go with a receiver, I would go with Wicks. I would.
Man,
no Watson.
Flacco starts games. Like, you want to know what Flacco's pass attempts are when he starts games? He's thrown over 35 pass attempts in all but 2 games that he started.
Respectfully, what are you what's the Giants over-under for points right now? Does he even clear 15?
No, probably not. But like, you know, they have to win the game and put up a blowout performance. They have to get those points somehow. And what if it's Downs?
It could be Downs, but I think it's going to be Jonathan Taylor.
It could be. I don't know, dude. Downs has been like.
I'm sorry, Neil. I would go Garendo because I feel the safest about that offense, and it sounds like he's good. I'm so sorry.
I think Garendo has a risk that game gets out of hand too, man. It's just as much of a. Yes, so? The Lions could wipe the 49ers. The 49ers suck, man. They are bad.
All right. I mean,
they're bad teams.
If you want to go with the guy that actually has the most on the line, go with Wicks then.
Well, Downs and the Colts are fighting for a playoff spot.
Yeah, but they could go up 14-0 and the Giants can mail it in.
Right, but
Jonathan Taylor might score fucking 40 points this week. I hope not because fucking we don't have him. But
how likely is it that Jonathan Taylor has like 15 points in the first quarter of the game?
Likely.
At the very least, like the fourth quarter is when this stuff that you're referring to takes effect.
Likely.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely could.
I think there's a possibility he could have 11 for 98 and a touchdown.
I'm putting my money where my mouth is, and I'm going and placing a bet that Josh Downs has over 100 yards today because I think he literally might snap.
Okay. Fair enough.
100 yards and a tug Downs is going for today. Wow. I'll literally put my money where my mouth is.
Sounds like he's too low at 25 for you.
If we still did going nuts picks, that's my guy.
Yeah, fuck. We got to reach out to fucking Manscaped for next year.
I did. They ghosted us.
They ghosted us? Oh, okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
We're not providing enough value, I'm afraid.
I'm afraid they were not fond of the bush.
No, they were not. Brian Robinson over James Cook. No. You got to go James Cook there. I like B-Rob though this week, just not that much.
Goff, Spears, or Hall. Pick 2 super flex. I mean, you got to go with Goff.
I mean, you have to start Goff.
Goff and Spears. Hurry, please. Spears or A-Chance. Spears all the way, Corey. All the way.
If you guys, let me just spoil this for you guys. If you have a question that involves Tajay Spears, the answer is most likely Spears. Spears,
where do you have him ranked this week?
Spears, Hall, Spears. Like Spears, Cook, Spears. Like he's the answer most of the time.
Where do you have Spears ranked? He's my RB8.
He's my 11 this week.
Okay.
A couple guys locked in ahead of him though.
Got you. I mean, the difference might be I have him 1 spot ahead of Bucky.
Yeah, I have Bucky 1 spot ahead of him, and then Charbonnet, Derrick Henry, Kyron, and Chase Brown locked in for 4 of the next 5 spots with Taylor at 7.
That makes sense.
Okay, here we go. Indianapolis Colts, same game parlay, receiving props, Josh Downs receiving yards, 100 plus 370, touchdown score, Josh Downs plus 180 to score, plus 700 bet here. for Josh Downs, 100 plus and a touchdown. We're going to go 25 bones on it, pays out 200. This is Josh Downs' eruption season. I'm calling it right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a lot more conviction than me on this, Neil. If you want to go with Downs, be my guest. They are close enough projections to the point where if Corey feels like he's going to go 100 plus in the touchdown, go ahead. That's where I'm at with it. They're close enough for me to the point where go with your heart desires. Also, you put 100 bones on it. Spicy
No,
said?
I put 25 bones on it.
Oh, Spicy said
I parlayed the touchdown and the yards together, and it pays 200 if it hits.
I would go with Wicks, but that's fine.
We know. Danny would probably start Dak this week if he could.
I would. I picked up Tom Brady on a couple of my championship teams just for the locker room leadership.
Well, you better drop Dak so that he doesn't have an issue with it, because he'll cause you to choke.
Fucking asshole. Fuck you.
By that logic, I mean,
I don't know. When your team just lost against Cooper Rush, I don't think you have any authority to talk on this. Cooper Rush.
I don't know if you need Dak in your locker room when you're trying to win a championship, he will cause you to lose in some form or fashion.
I don't know about that. I mean, I think last year Dan Quinn kind of mailed it in once he realized he's going to be the head coach of the Washington Commanders.
My opponent did the same thing. Yeah. Honestly, I'm confident in the culture that I have set in my locker rooms. I am currently projected to win all 4 of my championships right now, except for actually.
It's easy to say when you're in the lead.
Tone Setters is a half and half right now, and
what
me
are
and
the
Corey
other 3
could go down to the wire as well, but I think I'm projected to win personally.
So those are the 2 of them. Obviously, the listener league. What's the Bitcoin?
No, Debbie Degeneracy. I'm smoking Bengals right now.
Don't get me started with that. He put up fucking 260 against me last week.
I'm smoking him right now. So, I mean, it would be a generational choke job if I lose that one and the listener redraft league. The 2 that are in question are Bush League Best Ball Dynasty. And like I said, I think I'm probably 75% chance I win that. And then Tone Setters is roughly a 50-50 right now, but I like my chances because I got my hammers still to go.
I will say it is pretty nice knowing that I made the semifinals and I could have made the championship this year in that league. And I'm going to be having Ashton Genty come up next year. So
yeah. I knowing that I could win the championship with Amari and Hampton, Travis Hunter, and Ollie Gordon added to my team next year feels pretty good also.
Yeah, we're cooking. All right. But with that being said, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. A lot of banter on the stream. We had a lot of fun. Again, if you guys wanted more questions answered, we do have our rankings listed.
It's also our
in the
4th stream this week where we've been answering questions,
yes.
And our rankings have been all free this week too. So, I mean, if we didn't get to your question, I mean, we gave you a lot of opportunities is all I'm going to say. Appreciate that, Caitlin.
Cheers.
All right. Let's get it, fellas. Let's win these championships and also top 50 finish at the very least for us in Best Ball Mania.
Fantastic.
Let's get it.
Spicy, what does that get us? That's what, 50 grand?
No, it's 25, I think, for top 50. I think.
Right, we'll take it. Fuck, I would love that.
Anyways, good luck, everyone.